Am I the jerk for refusing to pay back my mom after I covered most household expenses for years? I, a 34-year-old female, have been living with my 58-year-old mother, who is a diagnosed narcissist, in a 2-bedroom apartment for a few years. I got this apartment to help her out of a homelessness situation, with me paying all initial fees and deposits. We have both been working and splitting bills and costs about 50-50. But I have been covering all food expenses, which range from $400 to $600 monthly, and occasionally other household items. My mother buys toilet paper and cleaning supplies, and we are supposed to split rent, electricity, and Wi-Fi. Over the past 2 years, I have spent about $10,000 on groceries for both of us, while my mother has contributed only about $600 in the entire 2 years. This was not something we both decided, but I did not mind at the time and did not want to harp on her. I lost my job a year ago and struggled financially. During this period, I still managed to pay for food, internet, and electricity, plus partial rent by working under the table for a family friend on her ranch doing cleaning and other ranch work. My mother helped cover my rent shortfall when I was short on my portion, totaling about $2,000 over 6 to 8 months. Even then, I was still spending more than $1,000 monthly on household expenses by myself on the things that were supposed to be split evenly. Now employed again, I thought we were operating as a team. However, my mother claims I owe her $3,000, which seems exaggerated and uncalled for given my continuous contributions. I have also been driving her everywhere due to her car breaking down, without even asking for gas money in return. I explained that if I were not solely responsible for all of the food, electric, and internet during my unemployment, I could have afforded my full share of the rent. I calculated that just her half of food costs alone over 2 years exceeds $4,000. I told her all this, emphasizing that I would not be paying her back. I suggested we consider it even, given our family situation. My mother is now furious, giving me nasty looks and not speaking to me. Despite her narcissism, she has generally been loving and supportive, and an overall good mother over the years. I feel conflicted and hurt by her reaction, especially since I believe I have been getting the short end of the stick financially. Originally, I was not trying to keep a tally of everything, but it is hard not to add things up as I reflect on everything. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to pay her back? P.S. Before anyone scrutinizes me for keeping the internet during my unemployment, it was essential for my job search and applications. My mother also insisted we keep it, and it allowed me to apply to as many jobs as possible from home. You did nothing to be ashamed of. You continued to prove your worth and hold up your end even after losing a job, going as far as working under the table to keep your heads above water, which is impressive. Your mother needs to realize the contributions you have made to the household and be grateful for having such a hardworking child who has helped her avoid homelessness. She should see you as a strong, independent person and show gratitude because you managed to bounce back and get hired somewhere else. This situation shouldn't be permanent, and you've done more than your fair share to ensure she had stability, so it might be time to consider finding separate living arrangements. Am I the jerk for not giving my ex temporary child support relief so they can pay for their stepkids? My ex-husband and I, both 32 years old, were married for 10 years. In all honesty, we were both too young to marry at 18, and we had grown up in a very religious environment that set us up to fail. Our parents encouraged us to court, marry, and have children, which we did. He was set up to work for his family to earn money while I was expected to end all education and be a stay-at-home mother, which I mostly did. I did seek out online schooling while my children were very young, but I never worked. My ex-husband wouldn't allow it, and our families discouraged it strongly. 4 years ago, at the start of 2020, my ex-husband told me he wanted to end our marriage because he had fallen in love with someone else. He claimed he hadn't cheated yet, but knew it was coming to that and wanted to be with her in the right way, which meant ending our marriage and marrying her before anything physical happened. He left me in a difficult position. I had no income of my own, no job experience at all, and I was totally reliant on him and his family. Despite what he said, he moved in with his now wife right away, though both claimed to live in separate bedrooms. Our divorce was a mess. They didn't want him to owe me anything. I asked the courts to grant me alimony until I could secure stable employment, which they granted. After several short-lived jobs, I did secure employment, and alimony came to an end. However, I will never make as much as him. Despite my ex-husband disappointing his family with his actions, they continued to employ him and even increased his salary so he could provide comfortably for everyone. He was ordered to pay a substantial amount of child support, even with 50-50 custody, because of the disparity between his household and mine. This money goes into providing my children with a good quality of life. I couldn't provide it for them without the support, though I am far more comfortable now than before and can save a little for their futures. My ex-husband's household consists of his wife, her 2 children from another relationship, and their 1 child together. Our children are there 50% of the time. Recently, my ex-husband asked the court to relieve some of his child support burden, stating that his stepchildren had some medical and dental procedures he needed the money for. The courts did not rule in his favor and told him he had an obligation to maintain our children's quality of life. After court, he approached me to ask for temporary relief from child support for 2 months so he could pay for his stepchildren's needs. I refused to let him off the hook on child support. While I believe he has expenses for his stepchildren, our children need to be supported too, and I don't want to make them suffer for his choices. He and his wife launched a personal attack, calling me uncharitable, greedy, and vindictive. Am I the asshole? You acted correctly. The stepkids are the financial responsibility of his wife and their biological father. There's no reason your children should suffer because their father chose to marry someone with kids. He needs to live with the consequences of his actions and step up to his responsibilities. Would I be the asshole for calling out my friend for giving reused gifts as presents? At Christmas, my friend and I exchanged gifts. One of the gifts I received was a body scrub. At the time, they said, I checked it's vegan and cruelty-free, which is something I look for in beauty products. I thought, that's thoughtful. They made sure it was vegan and cruelty-free. Fast forward to the present day. I have been using my other scrub before starting this one, which is why I had not noticed this sooner. I went to use the scrub today and realized the product was not completely full. About a quarter of the pot did not have product in it. I did not think too much of it, as sometimes this happens, but when I opened it, there was no seal. Immediately, I thought something was up. The brand usually has a seal over the pots when brand new. I really wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, so I tried a small amount on my leg. Immediately, my legs started to itch, and I had to lather the area in my hypoallergenic lotion to stop the itching. I have a few red marks from where the product made contact with my skin, but thankfully it was not on long enough to cause more serious damage. I have sensitive skin, and my friend knows this because I have lent them some products to help their skin and explained at length my issues in a bid to help them. After the ordeal, I took to the internet to research this product. What I found was the product I received on its own was not available for individual sale. You can only get the smaller version in a gift set. Then, from calling my mother, who just happened to have an unopened moisturizer from the same brand, I confirmed they are, in fact, sealed down under the lid. So, after putting these pieces of information together, I realized my friend gave me a used product from a gift set as part of my Christmas gift. I am horrified about this because they know I have sensitive skin, and used products can cause so many issues. My mother said my friend is disgusting and I should tell my friend just how awful it is, but I am more hurt that they gave me something used. So, Reddit, would I be the asshole for confronting my friend about reusing gifts as presents? You are not in the wrong here. Some people are just cheap or forgetful and end up regifting things they have. Instead of calling her out, just let her know you tried the product and noticed it had been tampered with. Thank her for the gift, but mention that it's important to check that gifts haven't been used. She'll likely be more mindful in the future and might stop giving regifted items. Am I the jerk for making my brother-in-law homeless and embarrassing him? My sister's husband, Mark, left her and their 12-year-old son, Alex, about a year ago. His reason was that Alex was too difficult to deal with. I think Mark is a piece of crap who blames his son for everything. Alex is a bit hyper and he does get into trouble for being distracted and impulsive, but he's not a bad kid. He loved his dad very much, but he's not stupid. He quickly figured out why his dad left and hates his guts now. Not that I blame him. He's been through a lot and he thinks his mom might just up and leave one day too. Because of this, there will be nights where he won't go to sleep unless his mom sits with him. My sister would never abandon him like his dad did, but Alex is way too anxious. He used to wake up several times throughout the night just to make sure she was still there. He's loads better now, and my sister can go to bed in her room after putting him to sleep. We don't tell anyone in our lives about this as it would be extremely embarrassing for Alex. I only know because I currently live with them and help around the house and with Alex. Unfortunately, Mark called a couple of nights ago wanting to apologize allegedly, and he and my sister had a pretty nasty fight about Alex. My sister ended up telling Mark about the sleeping problem. Mark was pretty surprised, allegedly, but just hung up. I figured he actually felt some guilt towards his son for once, but I heard Alex going crazy in his room. When I went to calm him down, he showed me his phone. He had received exactly 3 texts from his dad telling him to man up, stop annoying his mom, and if he didn't man up, he'd tell all of Alex's friends. I was appalled. The second my sister came home, I marched straight to Mark's mom's house where I knew Mark was staying and chewed him out. I don't think I'm the asshole for that. He deserved it. But Mark's mom, his sisters, their husbands and kids were home. I told them what Mark had been saying about his own child. I didn't have to. It's none of their business. But I knew they adored Alex, and his mom was extremely angry. One of his sisters even went, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Now Mark's mom is giving him a week to find somewhere else to live, and he's yelling at me for essentially making him homeless and dragging his entire family into things. He called me a dumb kid and said I don't know what it feels like to be a parent, and that he's human too. He admits that he could have been more decent with Alex, so perhaps he's reflecting. I doubt it. I suppose I went too far regardless. Am I the asshole? For reference, I'm 21 years old. My sister is 34 years old. Mark is 35 years old. In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. You didn't make him homeless, you just made him accountable. His own words and actions are what's making him homeless, and it's not very manly to be living with his mother at his age. Alex is lucky to have aunts and uncles who stick up for him, and hopefully, he can see and engage with that love. Frankly, it would be best if your sister keeps Mark out of Alex's life, but that's her decision to make. Am I the jerk for telling my sibling I think they were insensitive to our sister-in-law? I, a 29-year-old woman, have 2 siblings. My oldest sibling is Cade, a 37-year-old man, and my middle sibling is Ronnie, a 34-year-old woman. Cade is married to Ashley, a 36-year-old woman, and Ronnie is married to Chase, a 35-year-old man. Ashley and I are very close. She and Cade started dating when I was still very young, and she was always like another sister to me. Ashley has a challenging background. Her mother left when she was a baby, and she was raised by her father for 15 years. Then her dad died very suddenly and tragically, and she was sent to live with an aunt who did not really care about her. She and my brother were dating at the time, and we became her surrogate family. She used to talk about how nice it would be to name a baby after her dad, Shay. We all knew her dad's name and how meaningful it was to her. Ashley and Cade have run into some fertility issues. After many years of being told it was unexplained infertility, last year they learned it was something that could be treated. Ashley underwent surgery and was given some medication. During that time, Ronnie became pregnant and had her first son. When my nephew was 3 weeks old, Ronnie and Chase announced that their son's name was Shay. Ashley said nothing. She smiled and congratulated Ronnie, but she broke down and cried with Cade and me. She had not known Ronnie was planning this and was incredibly hurt that Ronnie chose to use that name out of all the names available. Cade confronted Ronnie. He called her out for only announcing the name when our nephew was 3 weeks old and everything was finalized. He told Ronnie she knew it would hurt Ashley, she knew it would upset her, and she did it anyway. Ronnie argued back, and the two of them have not spoken since. Ronnie complained to me about Cade and Ashley. She said Ashley needed to get over herself. Ronnie also spoke in a way that sounded very much like she wanted Ashley to get over the name, and chose it out of some weird spite. I honestly feel like there was some jealousy there that Ashley was close to getting pregnant, and Ronnie used Shay to get back at her. Ronnie focused a lot on the attention Ashley got, both for her infertility and her dad. She seemed so bitter, which was sad because Ronnie and Ashley used to be close. She told me their choosing the name had nothing to do with Ashley, and that she and Chase just thought Shay was cute. I told her she was insensitive and that I believed she knew she was doing it out of spite. Ronnie freaked out at me for taking Ashley's side, and she told me she should be allowed to choose any name she wants to. Am I the asshole? You have done nothing wrong. Ronnie did it out of spite, and it's clear she doesn't care about how it affects others. Tell Ashley to stay away from your sister and keep any future names secret. Honestly, Ashley should still use the name because it means so much to her. Am I the jerk for making a scene when my brother's girlfriend tried to protect her peace? I apologize. My son is 11 months old and in the 97th percentile for height. He is currently 36 inches tall, about the size of an average 2.5-year-old, and wears size 3 clothing. Despite his size, he is still just a baby, and most of his nutrition comes from breast milk. For the 4th of July, we had a big family cookout, and my brother invited his girlfriend. I live out of state, and I wanted some time before my return flights, so I am staying longer. My brother and his girlfriend are also staying longer. My family is aware that my son is a baby, but my brother's girlfriend was initially very shocked when she saw him misbehaving. We explained that he is still a baby and is just exploring the world. She remained uncomfortable, and we mostly avoided each other. Because he is so big, feeding him is a chore, so I use an armchair for support. This makes covering up difficult, as he gets sweaty under blankets and will not eat. It has been a tense couple of weeks. Last night, I think we both lost it. My son needed feeding, and she was in the chair. I asked her to move, which she whined about but eventually did. Everything was fine for another hour until she demanded my brother pay for her to stay at a hotel for the remaining nights because she could not cope with me and the baby. When my brother asked what she meant, she said that my son is clearly big enough to be on real food and that I enjoy making her uncomfortable by feeding him in front of her. I got very upset and told her to keep her mouth shut because she clearly does not know the first thing about parenting and certainly does not know anything about me or my son. We argued until my son woke from his nap and I left to collect him. She then left, loudly declaring that she needed to protect her peace. My brother told me I was being immature and left with her. My dad is on my side, but said I should have removed myself from the situation since I am a grown woman, and she is still a teenager. I am 3 years older than her, so I think that is unreasonable. My mom is neutral but is trying to convince my brother to come home and ended up paying for their hotel. She thinks I could have been more understanding. Am I the asshole? Was I completely out of order? If she's so shocked that babies can come in different shapes and sizes, she's going to lose her mind when she finds out they come in different colors too. Sometimes people are stupid or clumsy, but she was disrespectful. Her opinions on what your son should eat are stupid, and nobody asked for them. Next time, she can go straight to the hotel for her peace, but above all, for your peace. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.